Hi, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy, and so today I'm talking about my own personal events that's happened to me. And in the last year, since I've quit consuming meat, I've had a lot of visits from otherworldly beings, and I want to share with you some instances I've had recently about events that are coming up. And I've been doing this gardening for a while, and I've tried a dozen different ways to grow things. And you know, the bugs are really hard to manage in Florida, and I don't want to use pesticides. I mean, that's the whole point of growing your own vegetables is to not be using pesticides, right? And so I've planted a garden in several different places and unsuccessfully, and so I was container gardening, but I was dreaming. I call it dreaming, but I know it's astral traveling, or you go back to the absolute, or whatever you want to call it. And I had these two beings that showed up, and they had long white hair, about down to here, and there were two. They were side by side, and they were talking to me. They were actually giving me downloads because I couldn't hear what they were saying. And when I was looking at them, it looked like I was looking through either like if you had like a mirror that was covered with steam, or if you were looking through water, it looked like that. I could see them. I could see like their hair color, and they had like on a blue type cape and or blue type suit, and they were very pale skinned, and they were both talking. They were both side by side, and one was a little bit bigger than the other. And I was looking at, they were looking at me like through a window. It's the only way I could describe it. And the window was like, it was like foggy, or it was, only way I could say it, it's like looking through like gel or something. So everything wasn't quite clear. And then the next day I just had like a lot of downloads. I had a lot of downloads happen to me that night. But another thing that happened was I have this being that walks outside with me, and I'm walking along outside, and they're taking their hand and they're going back and forth, and they're taking me along the tree line out there, and they showed me, I looked down and I saw all these plants, these bean plants that were going, and they told me that I needed to plant beans here. And so I thought that was interesting. So I've come to find out since then that they're like these blonde-haired or white-haired tall beings that have pale skin, and they wear blue, and they're from the Pleiades. So I guess I had a visit from a couple Pleiadians. Have you ever had a visit from a Pleiadian? And what did they look like? And did they say anything to you, or did you get a download, or how did it work? And has anybody ever had visits from these where you didn't see a spacecraft or anything like that? I think they're just traveling interdimensionally, or I'm either traveling interdimensionally. I've not seen any kinds of ships. So, I mean, maybe I'm just not privy to it, or what. They just come to me interdimensionally. But I'd love to know what, if you have any thoughts, if this happened to you. If you have visits from beings and you don't see spaceships, because I've never seen one. So with that, I'm going to end this video. I'm trying to keep these short and just go through all these stories, because, you know, people ask me about my channel, and they'll come and look, and they're like, you know, they see all the educational stuff, and they're like, well, you're not really talking about this subject. So, you know, I want to put all the subjects out there. I want to put all my information forward, because, you know, I've seen a lot, and I've experienced a lot, and I think a lot of it has to do with my bloodline. I think that my family is a bloodline that comes from what they call Atlantis, but really it's just ancient Ireland. And these people were, they were intertwined with Nephilium genetics. I think there's Nephilium genetics in my family. And I think that's why we're very susceptible to toxic type things, foods, chemicals, all kinds of things like that. That we have the red hair, the freckly skin. You know, we have twins in our family. We have exceptionally huge children. I mean, big. You know, 11, 12-pound babies in my family line. We have Rh negative blood types in our family. My brother was Rh negative. I have cousins that are Rh negative, and we all come from the Randolphs. And the Randolphs come from Robert the Bruce. And from the way that I understand it, from following anthropology, and I even put the snippet on my page of where it talks about this Merovingian bloodlines that, you know, because Robert the Bruce is family was from France, but those are old Celt lines that are the Celts, and Robert Bruce's mom was Celt. So, she was Celtic, and his father was French and Norman. But, the way I understand it is that they come from Nephilim genes. And that probably explains to me more than any reason why all my Randolph family members just kept marrying other family members. Because I couldn't understand why they would do that. But now I understand. They were trying to keep their bloodline. They were trying to keep those Nephilim genes. They were trying to keep the Nephilim genes. That's really what they were doing. So, I'm hoping that, my family line used these Nephilim genes for good deeds. I mean, they did write the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence was, the Bill of Rights. All that was my family. And my great-grandmother, she was also in Adams, from John Adams' family. John Adams' family married into the Randolphs. And so her mother was an Adams, and her father was Randolph. So, I think a lot of these people did have really good intentions. They knew a lot of the esoteric knowledge, and it was taught in the families. And, and even when they came over, they named the first college, College of William and Mary, after King William and Queen Mary. And, if you know anything about history in Scotland and Ireland, you'll know that, the Randolph family was supporting that, and they didn't want to be taken down by Rome. They opposed the Roman Catholic order, and that's why we had the Protestants. And my family, my dad's family, they moved to Alabama, and they started a Protestant Reformation church. So they were very passionate about it. But it also doesn't excuse the fact that there were things that were going on in the family that weren't appropriate. There was sex abuse, and I did a past life, I did a hypnotherapy regression, and my grandmother told me that she was a business transaction. And that's quite unfortunate, but she suffered a lifetime of sexual abuse, and then she married a man that was abusive, and he sexually abused her kids. And I can't speak for all of them, but most of them were sexually abused by him. And he also showed up in my regression, and he was very remorseful, and he was ashamed. But, he showed me his life too, and he suffered a lifetime of abuse. And so that just goes to show that these family lines are perpetually abused upon abuse upon abuse and upon abuse. And you go back dozens and dozens and dozens of years, and you find that there's somebody in that family line that made some oaths. They made some blood oaths. And I'm not sure who it was in my family. I'm sure that not all of them were, inspired to do the right thing. I'm sure some of them wanted to take shortcuts, because, living a lifestyle where you're working for the universe is not easy. It requires a lot of balance, and it requires moderation, and it's hard. And nobody can be on all the time. So, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't want to do the work. You got the Black Lodge and the White Lodge. But I know that I feel like King Robert really, despite all the lives that were taken and the things that he did, that his intentions were good. That, he wanted to give Ireland and Scotland their freedom back. And, he died in early life. He died at 52 or 53, just like my brother Kevin. And I think he had a stroke, just like my brother Kevin. So it just goes to show you that those genetic lines, they're still very much active. And the karmic and traumatic events that are tacked onto your bloodline, they are traveling through every generation until somebody says, hey, this is enough. Buck stops here. And that's the one thing that I did get in that regression, is that my great-grandmother told me that my generation is the one that puts an end to it, that we put an end to it. And my father's name was Samuel, and she said Samuel. She kept correcting me, Samuel, not Samuel, Samuel. And I was like, okay. I mean, I kept looking up Samuel, and it said that he's Lucifer, but that's not true. Lucifer's the light bringer. He's the light bringer, the disruptor. And I think that Lucifer's education And planet Nibiru, the archetype, just means the Divine Mother's coming back to Earth. And there's going to be judgment. So it's been 10 minutes, and I'm going to wrap that story up. I got a bunch more. I hope that you guys want to hear them. So with that, when you come and find me, I'll be here. We're living in the past, present, and the future, all at the same time. So thanks for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.